Imagine walking through a bustling medieval marketplace. Merchants shout prices, coins clink against wooden tables, and deals are sealed with a handshake. But suddenly, one trader can no longer pay his debts. His creditors gather, anger rising. In a dramatic gesture, they smash his trading bench in front of everyone. His business is over. His reputation is shattered. And from that broken bench comes a word we still use today: bankruptcy. But why is it called that? What does a broken bench have to do with modern courtrooms, financial restructuring, and billion-dollar corporations collapsing overnight? The answer takes us on a fascinating journey through language, commerce, and centuries of economic evolution. Let's explore, right here, on History of Simple Things. The word bankruptcy traces back to medieval Italy, specifically to the vibrant trading cities of Florence, Venice, and Genoa during the 13th and 14th centuries. These cities were financial powerhouses of Europe, filled with moneylenders and merchants who conducted business in open markets. These traders worked at benches, called banca in Italian, where they exchanged currencies and extended credit. The bench wasn't just furniture, it was a symbol of their livelihood and credibility. If a merchant failed to meet his financial obligations, authorities would sometimes literally break his bench. The term for this act was banca rotta, meaning broken bench. Over time, the phrase evolved linguistically into the French banqueroute and eventually into the English word bankruptcy. So at its core, bankruptcy literally means a broken bench, a powerful metaphor for financial ruin. But beyond the dramatic imagery, the concept of bankruptcy itself is much older than medieval Italy. Ancient civilizations like those in Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome all struggled with debt and insolvency. In ancient Rome, debt could lead to severe consequences, including imprisonment or slavery. However, Roman law also introduced early forms of debt relief, recognizing that completely destroying a debtor could be economically counterproductive. The Romans understood something fundamental. Commerce depends on risk, and sometimes risk fails. Bankruptcy laws, even in primitive forms, were attempts to manage that failure in a structured way. As trade expanded across Europe, especially during the Renaissance, credit became the backbone of commerce. Merchants needed to borrow money to finance ships, goods, and long trading expeditions. But the more complex the economy became, the more common financial collapse became as well. This made the idea of formal bankruptcy laws essential. In England, the first official bankruptcy law was passed in 1542 under King Henry VIII. Interestingly, early English bankruptcy laws were not designed to protect debtors but to punish them. Bankruptcy was treated almost like a crime. The system focused on seizing and distributing the debtor's assets to creditors. It wasn't until centuries later that bankruptcy began to evolve into a protective legal mechanism rather than purely a punitive one. Fast forward to modern times, and bankruptcy no longer involves smashed furniture in public marketplaces. Instead, it takes place in courtrooms under structured legal systems. In countries like the United States, bankruptcy law aims to balance two goals: giving honest debtors a fresh start while ensuring fair repayment to creditors. Chapters like Chapter 7 and Chapter 11 have become widely known terms. Chapter 7 involves liquidation, selling assets to pay debts, while Chapter 11 allows businesses to reorganize and continue operating. This shift represents a profound change in philosophy. Instead of permanently shaming and destroying a failed debtor, modern systems often emphasize rehabilitation and economic recovery. Even so, the stigma around bankruptcy still lingers. The historical association with failure, shame, and broken trust hasn't entirely disappeared. When major corporations file for bankruptcy, headlines often describe it as a collapse or downfall. Think of large companies that once seemed untouchable, but eventually sought legal protection to restructure their debts. The emotional weight of the word remains powerful because it reflects not just financial loss, but also broken promises and disrupted livelihoods. What makes the term bankruptcy especially fascinating is how it captures both literal and symbolic meaning. The broken bench wasn't just about unpaid debt, it was about public accountability. In a tight-knit medieval marketplace, reputation was everything. Breaking the bench sent a message to the community. This merchant could no longer be trusted. Today, while the process is more private and legalistic, the principle of financial trust still underpins the system. Credit, after all, is built on confidence that debts will be repaid. When that confidence breaks, so does the financial structure supporting it. Language often preserves history in surprising ways, and bankruptcy is a perfect example. Most people using the word have no idea they're referencing a centuries-old Italian marketplace ritual. Yet every time someone says a company went bankrupt, they're echoing the image of a shattered wooden bench in Renaissance Italy. Words are time capsules, carrying fragments of culture and experience across generations. So why is it called bankruptcy? Because long ago, financial failure was symbolized by physically breaking the bench from which a merchant conducted business. That simple, dramatic act gave birth to a term that has survived for centuries, evolving alongside our economies. From medieval traders to multinational corporations, from broken wood to complex legal codes, bankruptcy reflects humanity's ongoing struggle to balance risk, responsibility, and second chances. And perhaps that's the deeper meaning hidden within the word. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.